Now let us take a moment to learn about how to deal with newly formed gates, aka gate claiming process. When a new gate is formed, it's not considered dangerous, but they need to contact the player association as soon as possible. If anyone tries to enter a newly formed, unverified gate without prior player association approval, you can find yourself sentenced up to 5 years, or fined up to $10,000. Be sure to have solid proof that you are the first to find the gate, since priority gate access and privileges are given to the first person to find it. Also known as rolling in the money when you clear it, or for the extremely lucky few, if it turns out to be a stable sustained gate. Now, we turn our attention to the Player Association Gate Supervision Department head, which happens to be our old friend Taeshik, who was recently promoted to this position. As he looks over the data he received on the newest gate, he notices it's near our hero's house. Upon finding out it was our boy, Taeshik, in a fit of surprise, spits coffee out all over his face. Back at the scene, the Player Association representative informs our Giju that he now has 5 days to enter the gate, or else the rights are forfeited and auctioned away. As this is happening, Taeshik has arrived at the scene, waiting for his chance to talk with our boy. When done, the two head off to a nearby nice cafe to talk. Since the new gate turned out to be an F-ranked gate, Giju plans on clearing it himself. Taeshik, while drinking sweet coffee, asks Giju which floor in the tower he was on. We now find that Giju just cleared 10th today and was on the 11th. This is mainly due to Lu's absorbing blood skill, which was making the process take longer than normal. Got to grind for them OP stats. Anyways, Taeshik gave our boy 4 days to prepare and come find him. Since he was going to personally test Giju to see if he had what it took to clear the gate, or else he wasn't allowed to go in. 4 days later, at the basement of the Player Association Tower, they are within a training room. With space expansion, protective barrier around the walls, it's the perfect place to go all out. Taeshik tries to solicit our boy to join the Player Association as an agent, but Giju flatly refuses, saying he doesn't want to settle down anywhere at the moment. As a thought occurs to him, he asks whatever happened to Teo, since the guide department disappeared when Taeshik got promoted. Seems Teo joined the Karivan Guild, it's plot for later. Taeshik starts to roll up his sleeves and get down to business with his bare hands. He starts off doing some fist pumps in the air, sending shockwaves in our boy's direction, shocking Giju. Once an expert, always an expert, don't look down on a former high ranker, and with those words starts giving off that old man vibes. Our hero's not about to take this lying down, then a boot comes flying straight for him without a moment's notice. Giju just barely blocks the hit with the black sword's help, but still gets pushed back a few feet. Don't let your guard down in a gate, since it's as good as dying, so stay focused. Flashback to 4 days ago, at the item auction market, Giju is shopping for more equipment. Weapons are no problem, but his defense is severely lacking. Like shopping in a mall, stores had window displays showing armor, they even have status windows showing the stats. How cool is that? Unfortunately, reality bites, and our poor fool is sticker shocked at the prices. Cheap armor gives disgustingly shitty stats, while good armor is disgustingly expensive, player economy at its best. As he sits down to pity his misfortune, he sees a commotion nearby. A kid is arguing with players, telling them not to look down on his grandpa's skills. But others just mock him, saying what could be so amazing about equipment that doesn't even have the standard pop-up. Regardless, our hero takes an interest in the boy, and tells him to take him to see his grandpa, to which the boy happily agrees. As the kid takes him down a shady staircase, our hero starts to have second thoughts, but Lu and El tell him that without a doubt, the kid's clothings are all egos, artificially made by human, but partially wields the strength of an ego. Upon entering the shop, Minsu informs his grandpa that he brought a customer, to which a grumpy old voice reminded him not to bring unwanted guests. But to Giju's surprise, his egos inform him that everything in this store was an ego. How could this be? As Giju looked at each item, they all showed up as nameless equipment with levels. Lu said these are all egos missing a ego, they were insentient egos. The old man behind the counter said he had nothing to sell, so just leave, since he wasn't planning on selling to the likes of him. Jilchul Won, the blacksmith, keep on looking at his book, with a knowing expression that all the guys that come to his shop are trash. Our hero insisted that he wanted to buy, to which the blacksmith waved his hands and said that even if he bought them, he won't be able to use them anyways. So Gitju countered that if he could use them, the blacksmith would sell them? Our hero started to name a sword and its level out loud. To which the blacksmith in shock couldn't believe he can see the sword's abilities. When told to try it out, Gitju first stared at the sword and told it from now on its name is Sharpness. Everyone in the room was shocked that nothing happened. Then El told our boy the sword didn't like the name. What a surprise. Now back at the present within the training room, Gitju stands a distance away from Taeshik with both his sword drawn out, with a red glint in his eyes. He quickly charges forward, closing the gap between the two, to land a blow on Taeshik. Without even flinching, Taeshik parries the blow with a single arm, like he's batting away an annoying bug. He angrily screamed that if you hesitate in your attack, our hero couldn't even put a scratch on him. Renewing his concentration, our boy takes one swing after another, without landing a solid hit with his swords, but gets easily countered with jabbing punches. Fist versus sword, the battle dragged on until Taeshik decided enough was enough and pulled his fists back for a decisive blow. Our hero noticed too late, as his arms were still behind him in a swing that would come little too late. Oh boy, another flashback to the blacksmith's shop. Gitju couldn't believe he couldn't link to any of them. He really needs to work on his naming skills. But as our hero takes some clothes from a shelf, Lu reminds him, while these are second-rate, egos are usually rather picky about their owners, unlike El and himself who couldn't help their situation, but they are not the norm. With a look of defeat, our hero decided to try one last time, touching a purple gold armor, naming it Brunhart. In a flash of bright light, the system message informs him that he has successfully made a link with the ego, Brunhart. While our hero celebrates, the system goes on to tell him that, due to lack of ability, not all of Brunhart's abilities can be used. We see Brunhart's stats. A new skill, Reflect Defense 12, is added to our hero. By the way, this is Reflect Damage. Now finally back to the present time, when the decisive fist blow from Taeshik is about to land, the system shows reflecting damage accumulated by Brunhart, and he is taken aback and a big explosion takes place at that very location, with rocks and dust being blown in all directions. Gitju is sent flying, and he crashes into the wall, spitting out some blood. From the bellowing cloud of dust, we see several potions thrown to our hero, who is crouching and still coughing on the ground. They are potions to heal any internal injuries. Taeshik also came prepared. He tells our boy, while he passed the test, if the gate isn't cleared within a week from today, the association will be sending their agents inside. However, Taeshik was only giving him 5 days. If he didn't come out, Taeshik was personally going to drag his sorry butt out. After making sure everything was in order, like a mother hen, it was time to enter the gate. Our brave hero entered the gate, transforming his egos into their sword form. He stabbed a wolf down its throat. Then he got down to business, as a large pack of wolves came into view. A single slash is all it took to kill these wolves. Lu kept on absorbing the blue wolf's blood. El leveled up. Using his new skills, taking his time to train, level up his egos, he started to clear the gate with ease. Just like a simple walk in the park, if the park had wolves. After some time, he sat down to get some rest and eat some dried out jerky while he mused at his luck for entering a gate like this, since normally given his position, it would be almost impossible to do something like this solo. A player's rank is used to determine everything, and measuring a player's rank is done without any equipment. Unfortunately, when he is a certain distance away from his egos, he loses all their abilities and additional stat bonuses, goes back down to level 1, so he couldn't get a proper evaluation. El cheers him up, saying that as Master's abilities advances, distance would no longer matter to maintain the link. He really hoped so. Unfortunately, he was still clueless on how to advance his skills. He also wondered about the cannibalism skill. Was it really eating one's own kind? Plot for later. Anyways, since his bag was already full of mana crystals, he decided it was time to conclude this, and headed for the main boss of the gate. He headed towards an entrance, which emitted the strongest energy in the gate. Our hero started to chug down on buff potions. Better safe than dead, started to walk down the dark tunnel. The light at the end of the tunnel finally came into view. Due to the tension, our hero spoke quietly for the egos to quiet down, to which his egos reminded him that no one else can hear them. Our silly fool forgot. The tunnel opened into a meadow. The boss wolf was lying down in the distance. At their approach, the eyes of the gatekeeper flared up, then standing up majestically gave a menacing growl, baring its fangs at our hero. The pressure it was giving off were leagues beyond the gate boss he previously fought with the random party. With a sudden leap, the boss charged towards our hero with blinding speed. In a matter of seconds it was within striking distance. Giju stood his ground, and met the charge head-on with his swords crossed, and blocked the first Fang attack. Then taking the momentum, like a badass, pulled L back, and swung it forward into the side of the boss's face. The attack was still shallow, and barely dug into the tough hide of the boss. The wolf was beside himself. How could a worthless human dare to scratch his face? His eyes started to glow red with rage. With the swing of the head, the wolf launched our hero rolling in the ground. Giju was able to manage his tumbling by using his dual swords as anchors to stop himself. This fight wasn't going to be easy. Since the damn wolf had such strong hide, he was going to have to fight the long battle, slowly accumulating damage. He smirked, thinking this wasn't so bad. The training for 5 years, battling a single goblin for over an hour, was finally going to pay off in spades. Since a battle of attrition was his specialty. The fierce clashes between a man and a wolf seemed to go on for ages. But in the end, when his buffs were about to wear off, he used Brunhart's reflect damage skill to deal a decisive blow. He sat next to the lying boss. While gasping for breath, it was a close call. While holding the black sword over the boss's body, our hero gave thanks for dying by his hands. He struck the final blow with Lu. The system window gave the usual info. Gate boss Changkyung was defeated, gained experience. Lu absorbs Changkyung's blood. To his surprise, Lu had gained a new skill from absorbing Changkyung's blood, called Strong Will, faster stamina recovery when damaged beyond one's means, great for his type of battles. Then suddenly, the system notification telling him cannibalism has been activated. As he stood there, dumbfounded at what was going on, a giant illusionary mouth appeared behind him and chomped down on the corpse of the boss. The system informed him that Lu has absorbed Changkyung and had successfully transformed it into an ego. As a big blue mana crystal was the only thing left behind, our hero was wondering what the hell just happened. As he sat down on the ground, with Lu and L, he tried to think on how this could be. Even his egos had no idea what just happened. They have never heard of a monster turning into an ego. While trying to figure out who had this new ego, he pulled up his status window, and it was him who had the ego of Changkyung. As he wondered how to use it, he remembered the embarrassment trying to activate it last time, and decided it was better to try it later. As he was glad about his findings, he started to get ready to head to the reward room, but our hero forgot something he had not accounted for. He looked all around but couldn't find it. Our little fool momentarily forgot that Lu ate the gatekeeper's corpse, so there is no way to port into the reward room via the gatekeeper's body. Lu lamented, why is it always his fault? Our hero looked frantically all around the boss area, but there was no portal in sight. He could wait for outside help, but how could he possibly explain his situation? It would have more questions than answers he could give. If he was unable to clear the gate, then a gate break might occur, causing a lot of casualties. Giju resolved to finish what he started, first by killing off all the remaining monsters. He went through every nook and cranny, all the places that had been purposely avoided, and killed all the remaining blue wolves they found. By the 5th day, they had killed the last monster, and then suddenly felt that the entire gate's energy was being collected in one place. His egos pointed out that it was the meadow where the gatekeeper was. Now, back at the player association, we find our boy talking with Taeshik, explaining the whole situation within the gate, while taking a shower. Talk about killing 2 birds with 1 stone. We get the flashback of the last moments within the gate. Our hero is running towards the meadow. As he gets close, he sees a scene that is difficult to explain, as if the whole world was breaking into pieces and being absorbed in one place. As he touched it, the system window appears and informs him that he had acquired an ego fragment. And will you enter the reward room? Flash forward to the present. Within the showers, Giju drops a bombshell that gates might be egos, to which Taeshik only had a dumbfounded expression.